Namaste and welcome. It is Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we are going to be speaking about letting go in relationships, letting go of control in relationships. Why? Very simple. For your personal peace, joy, happiness, to maintain your peace, to maintain your happiness, right? So this is, letting go does not mean giving up your power or becoming weak, okay? Letting go actually means regaining your power and realizing that you are in control of how you feel, okay? So what I want to do today is walk you through some simple scenarios that, you may be encountering, and how, if we just dealt with them a bit differently, it can move mountains for how we feel on a day-to-day basis, okay? So, one of the things I've found myself doing recently is whenever something bad happens, like an argument or a disagreement, really try to look deeper into that and ask the question, how could this have been handled differently? Going back to the yogic principles, how could I or somebody have applied these and got a better outcome out of it, right? And this is something I'd encourage you to do as well. So today is a simple example of that, okay? Now, if we simplify relationships, they are of two kinds, okay? The one is the ones that you choose. So your friends, your spouse, right? So you have control over who comes into your life. And here, if things are done properly, with awareness, then you're able to choose people that match your values for the most part. Let's say you choose a spouse, okay? So you'll want somebody who at least 80% matches the values that you have. You see eye to eye on many things. You're very compatible. 20% may not match, but you're willing to let that go because, is there really such a thing as a perfect match? So there's some things that you don't see eye to eye on, but you're okay to let it go, right? So you're willing to accept that whole package. Same with your friends. And in these scenarios, if it's done properly, mindfully, then most of the time is joyous, is happy, is, jovial, right? But then there are the relationships which we do not choose, which we are born into, like our parents, our siblings, our cousins, right? And here, often, things can get tricky if they're not going well, okay? So this is, of course, only for situations where things are not going well. But if you have a disagreement with let's say, a sibling of yours that you're living in the same house with, right? And you don't see eye to eye, there is a, big level of disparity between how you see things, and you're constantly arguing, bickering, disturbing each other's peace. So what do you do in this kind of a situation, right? So this is something that it sounds very simple, but is very difficult to do, okay? So if we look at how we usually behave when we're in disagreement with somebody. So I've listed here 5 things that we usually tend to do, and think of a situation that you are in disagreement with somebody. How many of these are you doing? Okay, just think about it. So the first thing we do is we argue with them. Okay, so we make it a point to argue with this person and let them know our point of view, right? We try to make them change their behavior, right? So ultimately, the disagreement is likely because you don't like their behavior or vice versa, and you try to make them change how they behave, right? And when you really think about it, no one's going to do that. People only do what they really want to do, right? So why are we putting this effort of trying to make somebody change? We point out their mistakes to them often. This, again, is trying to change their behavior, is, leading to an argument with them, right? So how often do you find yourself doing that? We speak about them to other people, and this is, call it gossiping, or call it, ultimately what you're doing is you're speaking about your disagreement to other people, and you're fueling your ego in a way, saying, I'm right, look at this person. And you're trying to get reinforcement from other people that, yes, They are they're not behaving in the correct way. You are right. You're trying to get this reinforcement, and that makes your whole kind of war with them bigger in your mind. It's actually not a good thing, okay? And we want them ultimately deep down, the reason we're doing all these things is we want them to know that they are wrong and we are right. They are wrong, you are wrong, and I am right? We want them to know this. So if you just take a step back and observe this relationship, if it continues like this, there's never going to be peace, right? And there's always going to be a small part of you or a big part of you that is uneasy, that is unhappy because you have this disagreement with somebody who, is very close to you in your life, right? So what should you do instead? Now, this is not a video about looking at specific circumstances. It is more giving you a general rule of thumb, okay, which you've probably heard before, but this is a reinforcement of that, okay? So what should you do instead of doing all these things? And the answer is very simple. It is to let go, okay? To just let it be and to let go. Now, I appreciate that may be hard to process, right? If you're really angry, you're probably thinking, no, why should I let it go? Why should I let it go? I'm the one who's right. They should let it go. And this is, again, it's just your mind is too much in this, right? What we need to realize is that us not letting it go and continuously making this a problem in our mind, a problem in our life, a problem for them, is just disturbing your inner peace. It's taking away your peace, it's taking away your happiness, it's taking away the joy, it's just creating a lot of negativity, right? So letting go is something that it may seem difficult, but it's only if you try it and do it, like really do it mindfully, that you will realize, as the famous Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh says, that when we let go, there is a rebirth of joy. There is a rebirth of happiness, of peace. And if there's anyone I want to listen to when it comes to peaceful living, it's it's him, right? And he's very, very strong on the idea of just letting go and not trying to control everything. Even in the yogic system, right? The fifth yama is aparigraha, which means non-possessiveness, right? Non-grasping, but not just of things, of people as well. Not trying to possess people and not trying to control every every single thing that they're doing, and want it done your way, because it's just disturbing your peace, right? And if you do this, right, this is something I'm saying from experience. If you do this, if you actually mindfully say, you know what, I'm going to accept this person as they are and really try to let go, you will begin to realize something. You will begin to realize that maybe what they're doing and how they're behaving is not a personal attack on you. It's just that they are in that space in their life right now. They are in that mind frame. It's not about you. They're not personally attacking you and trying to rebel against you. It is just where they are. And if you realize that, you can give them the time and the space to just get over it and move through that phase in their life, right? The other thing that you'll realize is that what you feel, like how you feel about them behaving in that way, is not actually totally about their behavior, right? It's not about their behavior. It's actually about your ego being hurt in some way. They have not shown you the respect that you deserve. They have not, given you the kind of love that you expected from them. But remember, it's not a personal attack on you. It just may be that's where they are mentally. That's where they are in their life right now, right? And when you let go and you begin to realize these things, that it's not a personal attack on you, right? And even from you, like you're not angry about what they're doing. Maybe a bit of your ego has been hurt. And if you can detach from that, you'll be able to let go even more and get into a place where you can just accept it. That look, this is where they are, right? I have decided that I am responsible for my own peace. I am responsible for my own happiness, right? When I act out in these ways, whether I argue, whether I gossip, whether I point fingers at them, it is doing nothing to improve the situation. It is just affecting my inner peace. It is just making me unhappy and making me think about these things, right? So you see that when we speak about letting go in this way, right? Letting go, just letting things be as they are and letting them transform naturally. It's not because you're weak. It is because you are realizing that your happiness, right? The strength, the power to be happy is all within you, ultimately. You are the master of your ship. So that is it. I hope this makes sense. I'm sure it makes sense, but I hope that there's some areas of your life that you can plug this into and try it out. So that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Namaste.